You graduated from high school in New Mexico?
In New Mexico, Lovington, New Mexico. Went to school in Abilene, Texas for 2 years. Went in the Navy for 4 years, back to Abilene for 3 more years of schooling, and got my master's degree from Abilene Christian University in range management, and went to Utah State University and got my master's degree in range management. And my first job with the Forest Service was in South Florida, down at Fort Myers. And so I spent my entire career then in South Florida and South Georgia doing grazing research. And while we were at Tifton and everything, we got into the timber part of it, and had pines planted in different pasture species and everything, and looking at the combination of the two in that area. I'm Clifford Lewis, retired U.S. Forest Service range scientist. We started, Forest Service started doing some range improvement practices back in the late 40s in South Georgia, and eventually grew into doing a lot of pine pasture research. Then after I transferred to Gainesville, Florida in 1980, we started doing the wide row spacing, double row configuration research, primarily on Withlacoochee State Forest and Avon Park Bombing Range on native rangeland. And we had already done a lot of pine pasture research in South Georgia, so we kind of combined the two philosophies together to come up with this double row configuration in pastures. And because the double row configuration allows it to have sunlight penetration throughout the pine rotation, and therefore you can produce a good crop of forage all along, and have an annual crop through your cattle sales while you're growing off your timber crop. So the combination of the two is an attempt to make land use more profitable, particularly if you want to remain in the forestry production area and then branch off into the livestock, or vice versa, if you want to diversify your livestock operations and get into some forestry with long-term investment that can prove very profitable. George Owens and Pat came to one of our Extension Service seminars over in Lake City back in about 1985, I think, and in which we discussed this concept and philosophy. And George is a very enterprising young man, and so they came home and said, we think that we can make that thing work on some land we just bought. This is in Bahia grass pasture, and so they were the first innovators of this practice here in Florida, and I guess first one in the nation to go with the double row configuration. And George has managed it very well, made it very profitable, and has gained a lot of influence and popularity across the South and everything in his promotion of this practice.